sitting on my floor today for a little bit of change of scene, because why not? I, like most people, buy a lot of books. I'm sure you could tell that by general content of my channel. I read a lot of books, I buy a lot of books. This often turns into me buying books that I don't read. I'll buy a book because I want to read it, and then buy more books and read those books instead and never get around to reading the original books that I bought. It's a bad habit and I am aware of it. So in an effort to combat that terrible habit of mine, this is a kind of personal call out in the form of a YouTube video. I do not remember who inspired me to do this video. I kind of just saw their video on my feed and was like, ooh, that seems like a good idea. I should do that. And didn't watch their video at all. If I can find it again, I'll put it here. Shout out to that person. Sorry I didn't watch your video before stealing your content. Nobody is allowed to judge me. It's Pride Month. That's homophobic. I don't have that many books that I haven't read. Combed through my bookshelf, looked for all the ones I own that haven't read. Ebooks don't count. I'm just putting that out there. We're not counting ebooks. This is a physical TBR of books I physically own but haven't read. If we were counting ebooks, we'd be here for a week. I don't know where to start. I have a stack of books that you can't see, and I don't know where to start with them. Okay, let's start off easy, actually. First book, Milo and Marcus at the End of the World by Kevin Christopher Snipes. I haven't read this book yet because I bought it about 3 days ago. Kevin Christopher Snipes, if you do not know, he wrote one of my all-time favorite podcasts, The Two Princes. It's Gimlet and Spotify. It's absolutely fucking fantastic and very gay. And so when I heard he was putting out a book, I really wanted to buy it. So I bought it when I found it. This book didn't come out all that long ago. I think it came out fairly recently, like this month, last month, something like that. So I haven't read it yet because I just bought it and am in the process of reading another book currently, so I haven't been able to read it. That is my explanation for it. Sometimes we don't get around to reading books right away, okay? I think I'm gonna get a little bit of backlash for this one, but The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I know, it is a crime that I haven't read this book yet. I have heard so many good things about this book. Everybody loves it. It's all over Book Talk. It's been all over BookTube since it came out. Like, everybody loves this book. I've also heard it's emotionally devastating, so maybe that's why I've been putting it off for so long. I think it's gay. If it is, fantastic. Yeah, I don't really know what it's about. I'm pretty sure it's about the myth of Achilles. That would make sense, judging by, the title. I think this is the book with that bit that I've seen all over TikTok that's like, he is half of my soul, as the poets say. Is that this book? Because if it is, I know it's gonna ruin me because that writing was so fucking good. If that's this book, let me know, because I want to read whatever book that is. I think it's this one. I hope it's this one. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about this book. I've heard some amazing things about Madeline Miller's writing in general, so I'm excited to get to it, and I'll probably get to it soon. The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I'm like 90% sure that this book was a recommendation from Karis. I think this is her favorite book. If I'm remembering correctly, Karis told me to read it because it's her favorite book. Karis, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I don't know anything about it. The cover's pretty. That's pretty much my extent of the knowledge on it. I know it was a recommendation, and I'm pretty sure it was a recommendation from Karis, and I'm a little bit less certain, but I'm pretty certain it was recommended by Karis because it's her favorite book. Because I was asking my friends what their favorite books are, and I think this is Karis's favorite. As I said, I don't know what it's about. I have absolutely no idea. I've never read one of Erin Morgenstern's books. I'm hoping I'll be pleasantly surprised. Karis wouldn't have recommended it to me if she thought I'd hate it, probably. So I think I'll like it. Cover is just really pretty though. I love how like shiny it is. Like you can see that's the camera right there. I don't know if these two really count, but I haven't read them, so I'm including them in the video. Wayward Sun and Anywhere the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell. This is the second and third book, respectively, in the Simon Snow trilogy. I very, very recently, as in like a couple of days ago, finished Carry On, which is the first book in the trilogy. I know I am several years late to the party, but it's better late than never, right? I read Carry On, absolutely fell in love with it, and immediately had to go and buy the second and the third one. I'm currently about to start the second one. I feel like that's the next book I'm gonna read, is the second one. I fell in love with the story so quickly. Simon, Baz, Penelope, Agatha, all such good characters. I love it. It's a perfect blend of like humor, but still quite serious that I just really enjoy. Like if Harry Potter wasn't written by a transphobe. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting to these. Like think I'm gonna start Wayward Son on my way to work today. I don't know if they really count enough for this video because I know I'm literally about to start one of them, but I'm including them because they were on my shelf and they haven't been read. Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. My mom actually bought me this book for my birthday, I think like 3-ish years ago. I think it was my 16th. She bought it for me because she liked it and she thought I'd enjoy it, and I don't know why I never read it. I feel like it's an injustice to my mom to not have read this book at this point. I don't know what it's about. I think it's about like some kids who live in an attic for like their whole lives or something. Like they're hidden away from society or whatever and live in an attic, and then they have to try and escape the attic. Like, I think that's it. Apparently it's a movie, so that's fun. I've never seen the movie either. I do hope to get around to this book one day because I do think it is kind of an injustice to my mom to not have read it yet when she actively bought it for me because she thought I'd enjoy it. I think it's also part of a series. I think there might be more books after it. I'm really not sure. But if my mom thought I'd enjoy it, I'm sure I'll enjoy it because my mom typically has good taste in books. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Another Erin Morgenstern book. I'm pretty sure this one was also a recommendation from Karis. Now that I think about it, this might have been the one she recommended to me because it was her favorite. Karis, I'm so sorry. What's Heather's pick? Look at that. Heather usually has good taste. I love the cover on this. I love the little like, oh, there's a hole. I don't know. It's a cool cover. And I still haven't removed the Heather's pick sticker because I don't want to ruin the cover. Once again, don't know what this is about. I think it's a romance, like a dark romance. Takes place at a circus, I'm assuming. An evil circus, maybe? Evil circuses are fun. I really don't know. I know it was a recommendation from Karis, so. Karis has good taste, typically. So I think I trust her. Apology in advance to Maya for the book that I'm about to say I haven't read, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. See, the reason I haven't read this book, it is very simple. We were supposed to read The Great Gatsby for my novel study in 11th grade. We went into quarantine, never did our novel study. I never read the book, and now I own it for no reason. This is Maya's favorite book. I know it is. She's absolutely obsessed with The Great Gatsby. Very valid of her. I have no idea what it's about. I know it's about a guy named Gatsby. His friend Nick, who I think he's in love with, and I think her name's Daisy. I think there's a lady named Daisy. They're all rich. They throw parties a lot. I think Gatsby like fucking dies at the end or something. I don't know. There's a movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio. I've never read it. I probably won't read it. Sorry, Maya, but I own it. I know I probably should read it just because it's a classic, but I don't know if I want to. It feels like kind of a fuck you to my 11th grade English teacher who I didn't like by not reading this, so. Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I'm not 100% sure. I'm very sorry if I'm butchering that. Little Fires Everywhere is one of my favorite books. I read it and absolutely fell in love with Celeste Ng's writing style. And so I knew I had to get Everything I Never Told You because people who love Little Fires Everywhere have also loved Everything I Never Told You. So I bought it and never got around to reading it. This book has definitely been sitting on my shelf for like at least a year. I feel like in general, I do not read books from a diverse amount of perspectives and a diverse collection of authors. Most of the books I read, I feel like are written by white women. I would personally like to have a larger perspective in the books that I'm reading. I would like to have perspectives from different kinds of people. And so reading a book by an Asian American author, I feel like that's something I should do. Not even just for the sake of having the diversity and like the diversity points, but because I'd like to better understand her perspective, and also because I just really like her writing. I'm kind of making it my mission to seek out those other authors from different perspectives to kind of diversify my range and get those different perspectives and all that kind of fun stuff. So maybe one day I will get to it. Hopefully I will, because I know I'll enjoy it. Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. Part of me feels like I've mentioned this book in a video before and pretended I'd read it. I haven't. I do not know what this book's about. It looked gay. I purchased it. The cover's kind of cool. I like the little like dude up there. I don't know what he's doing, but he's cool. I think they like summon a demon or something, like one of the main characters. There's some boys and they're in a cemetery at some point, I'm gonna assume. Yeah, I really know absolutely nothing about this book. It looked interesting when I looked at the cover in the story, so I bought it, and I think it's been a year or better since I did that and haven't read it yet. When the Curtain Falls by Carrie Hope Fletcher. Carrie has actually been one of my favorite YouTubers since I was about 9. It's been about 10 years. She was one of my biggest inspirations in content creation growing up. I was absolutely obsessed with her. I'm still absolutely obsessed with her. For those of you who know her from YouTube, she is also an author. for those of you who know her because she's an author. She's also a YouTuber. She's also a very accomplished actress in the musical theater scene in England. She's a very lovely lady. I love her. When I heard she was writing books when I was younger, I was so excited. I wanted to read all of them, but they never came out outside of England. And When the Curtain Falls was the first book of hers to come out outside of England, and so I bought it. Haven't gotten around to it yet. For someone who claims to love romance so much, you'd think I'd have read more romance novels. I do really hope to get to this one soon. Not this month because it's Pride Month. I will not be reading any heterosexual love stories in Pride Month.
Get away from me, you're straight. It's Pride Month.
Apparently it's kind of like Phantom of the Opera vibes, and we all know how I feel about Phantom of the Opera. So we're gonna see. I'm sure I'll love it because I love Carrie. Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I know this is the first book in a trilogy, I'm pretty sure. It's one of my sister's favorite books. I'm not quite sure what it's about, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. I know when it first came out, it was quite popular on BookTube. I think it's about some like teens that apprentice a Grim Reaper and become like Grim Reapers or something similar in like a world where nobody dies anymore. I think that's the concept. Don't hold me to that. It seems very interesting. My sister enjoyed it. I'm excited to get to this one. I do really love the like fantasy books. As you all know, I'm a big fantasy person. So I think I will really enjoy this. I'm not quite sure why I haven't read it yet, but I plan to soon. These two, I know, are also a crime that I haven't read. Daisy Jones and the Six and the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, both by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Everything I have heard about these books is that they are amazing. Everybody loves these books. Everybody loves Taylor Jenkins Reid. I actually picked these two up for a very specific video, so I know I'm going to be getting to them purely for that video. I do think I will really enjoy them though. I'm not quite sure what either of them are about. I've just heard a lot of very good things. I've also recently heard that apparently the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is gay and emotionally devastating, but you know, we all need a little bit of emotional devastation in our lives sometimes. The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I am absolutely obsessed with this cover. It's so pretty. I love covers that are like designed like this. I think this is kind of like a fairy tale-esque inspired book. I'm really not sure. I bought it because it was very popular on BookTube for a while. I also bought it for a very specific video, so I think I'll be getting to it soon. From what I understand, it's like a fantasy book with like fairy tale vibes. I think it's like a modern fantasy as well, judging by the fact that there's like skyscrapers on it. Yeah, I'm excited to read this one. I've been wanting to read it for the longest time, and I know I'm gonna love it. I know with all of these books that I'm gonna love them. So I don't know why I haven't gotten to any of them yet. There's only 3 books left. We're almost done. Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This is the first book in a series, I'm pretty sure. I think it's a Cinderella retelling. That would make sense by, you know, the name and the cover. I've actually owned this book for ages. It was one of my best friends in middle school's favorite books, so I bought it because I wanted to read it so I could like talk to her about it. I didn't. I think these were actually quite popular on BookTube back in the day. God, I sound like such an old man when I say that. Back in my day. I think these were popular on BookTube like 6 years ago or something. Personally, I am not the biggest fan of like classic story retellings. Like I've never been a huge fan of them. It does not matter what they are. I've just never really enjoyed like Cinderella retellings, Sleeping Beauty retellings, all of that kind of stuff. The only valid one is a Cinderella story. So I'm not actually quite sure how I'm gonna feel about it. Like I said, I bought it quite a few years ago just so I could talk to a friend about it. At this point, I don't remember anything she told me about it. I have no idea what it's about past the point that it's a Cinderella retelling, and I think it's like steampunky. So I really don't know if I would enjoy it. I don't know when or if I'll get around to it. I do think one day I maybe will read it, if just to like get it over with, get it off my shelf, get it off of my permanent TBR type deal. If you enjoyed this book, let me know. Like I don't really know how I'll feel about it, so. This one, I'm also aware is a crime, and I'm also very sorry to Maya for. 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. That's right, I haven't read 6 of Crows. I know I'm gonna love 6 of Crows. And again, I bought it for this very specific video that I'm working on. So this is another one that I know I'm gonna get to soon. In the meantime, this is on my have not read list. It's very, very popular. I don't know what it's about. Is it like about the like big crime group, gay criminals in like a fantasy setting? Is that it? I know Maya loves it. A lot of my books are books that my friends really enjoyed. I love the like inside bit. It's kind of cool. This wasn't one of Maya's favorite books when I bought it, but now that it is, it's kind of just more incentive for me to read it. Partially because I want to know why she loves it so much, partially because I know I will love it, and partially because like just want something to talk to her about. I'm very excited to see what it's about. I've heard so many good things about it. I know people really, really love this book. I know it's a very popular series. So I think I'm going to enjoy this. And I'm looking forward to getting to it soon for that aforementioned video. And we have reached our last book on the TBR. And that book is Welcome to Nightmail. Welcome to Nightmail. Welcome to Nightmail. If I say Nightmail one more time, I am going to rip my head off. Welcome to Nightmail by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Craner. Had to double check the authors, but I'll take it. That take took me so long. Welcome to Night Vale, bitch. I love this podcast. I owe a lot to Welcome to Night Vale as a podcast. It's what introduced me to some of my very, very best friends. I love those guys to death, and therefore I love the podcast to death for introducing me to them. It's a very fun little story. It's just so absurd and ridiculous, and when I saw that there was books, like, I knew I had to get them. I'm not specifically sure what this one is about. Who knows at this point, but I know because of how much I love the podcast and the way the podcast is written, I'm gonna love the book anyways. I don't know when I'm gonna get to it, but I will one day. I owe it to my friends to read the book, inspired by the podcast that made me friends with them. Not even inspired by, like, it's written by the same people. So I know it's gonna be great because the writing of the podcast is great. I don't know how much of, like, Cecil and Carlos are in this, if they're in it at all. I mean, they have to be in it at least a little bit. I feel like you cannot write a Welcome to Night Vale book and not have Cecil Palmer in it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I haven't gotten around to it yet because I know I've owned it for like 2 years or something. One day I will read it. I have to. And that is all of the books on my physical TBR. There's less books than I thought there'd be, but this still took me fucking ages to get through. I don't know how long this video is gonna end up being, but thank you for sitting through and watching the whole thing. Tell me in the comments which of these books you want me to get to first, you think I'd enjoy the most, whatever. Once again, I'm sorry to my friends if books I thought were recommendations from you are not recommendations from you. I'm sorry to Karis if Starless Sea is not actually your favorite book. And if you have any, leave your book recommendations for me in the comments. I'm always looking for new things to read. And that is it for this video. It's already gone on long enough. I'm not gonna bore you with a super long outro. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it. It's engagement either way. Subscribe if you want to see if I ever actually read any of these books, or if you want to see that very specific video that I keep mentioning but telling you absolutely nothing about. A complete list of all the books in this video will be included in the description, so if you really want to check out any of them, make sure you check down there. And that is it. I will see you guys in the next video, which I promise will not take 5 months this time. Bye!